Hello, and welcome to episode 154 of Prose. This week, fear for your life while out for a run, and bring the dream world into the waking world. As you listen, please consider heading to prosepodcast.com, our one-stop shop for all things prose. There you can find links to social media, the episodes, a shop for swag, this show's Patreon, and much more. On social media, like and share away, and please give me a shout, say hello. Most importantly, please do consider subscribing, rating, and or reviewing wherever you grab your podcasts. Thanks for listening. Let's get to the tales, shall we? This week we have Robin's Egg Blue and Okay, My Dream. Enjoy. Robin's Egg Blue, an original short story by Jared I. McGee. Anna had done the entire circumference of the park enough times to be bored of it, and to accumulate enough mileage that, along with her run there, saw her right at 12 miles down. She was sick of city blocks, and even the park itself was getting old. But she found herself veering onto the loop around the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir in hopes that the slight change might shift her waning interest in getting all the way to her desired 17 miles in today. This marathon training was something she did truly enjoy, but it could become tedious after a while, to put it mildly. Manhattan had been under a months-long thick blanket of snow, followed by a recent week of torrential rain. So the customary crunch that came along with running the reservoir was gone. All the sediment was gone, so Anna's loop would be a smooth, somewhat slick dirt path. She planned to run the loop twice. With that, and making her way home, she would hit around 17 miles without any more labyrinthine wanderings, right there at her apartment. Normally, this time of year was painfully frigid. To run outside required layers upon layers, making for a bulky, clunky, uncomfortable run. But the rains had brought with them an unseasonable high of 65 and low of 50 for the next few days, so Anna got to pare down on that winter wear burden. Tonight, in fact, she'd chosen her Robin's Egg Blue running top with the zip-in pocket for her ID and her phone, though she no longer carried the latter. Her keys, unfortunately, still had to be attached to the top of her shoe with a cute little device she'd gotten off Kickstarter. Well, key, really. She'd been able to consolidate all of her keys onto one ring save this one. It opened the door to her apartment building and her mailbox, so she left her larger ring of keys in her mailbox when she went out. For the warm occasion, Anna also squeezed into her admittedly now a little too small and not quite matching, but close enough running bottoms as well. They were snug, yes, but they were comfortable and kept her from the chafing that ruined her desire to run more often than not. They gave her a goal to get back to where she was most comfortable with her body as well. When these fit just right, she was generally feeling at her best. She knew that her abs had been hidden for a year or two now, so the chance of them coming back without some major focus on her workouts and nutrition was a bit of a pipe dream. But that wasn't her goal. She just needed to move. She wanted to feel free and just a touch more herself. That's what running did for Anna. And yes, she thought she looked damn good in this particular outfit too. After months of bulky layers, it was nice to feel sleek and slim and unburdened again, even if it was just for a short time on a long run. She looked westward with just a touch of trepidation. Having been off the trails for a while and generally falling away from her good habits during the winter, Anna's timing had been a bit off. She had started her run later than she would have liked. With the days still so damn short, the sun was already about to fully disappear into the Hudson. She had lived in Manhattan for 4 years now, and though she had never had any run-ins with dubious characters to speak of, she also did not like being out alone in the park after full, deep dark, particularly in winter. The dog walkers and late-night carousers tended to disappear extremely early, even on the warmest of days. She'd been relying on the forecasted low of 50 to keep the other park wanderers out and about a little later than normal for a winter evening. But they all disappeared as the sun set far too early and as the forecast began to seem a bit too overzealous, the temperature falling precipitously. The shadows lengthened and the shades came out to dance on the Reservoir Loop's path. The night was still as New York City can be. That's when she heard it. The unmistakable steady rhythm of footfall. The crunch of the gravel might be gone, but she could still make it out, even on the damp earth. Anna took a look from the corner of her eye. There, about 100 yards behind her on the path, was a man. He too was in jogging clothes, though his looked like the castaways from what used to be in regular rotation in his daily wear. Beat-up gray Snoopy t-shirt, old red basketball shorts, beat-up neon green Nikes on his feet. He clearly did not invest in nice running gear like she did. His pace was about the same as hers. Good. That meant she could finish these 2 loops and not have to have him pass her, then her pass him. She would not have to hear catcalls as he zipped by to go past her in some kind of masculine show of force. She would not have to deal with him running beside her, that 100-yard lead ensuring that that would be the case. But his eyes were on her back, her butt, her. That was unsettling. Anna kept her eyes scanning the path ahead and those adjacent to the reservoir. Was anyone else around if something were to go strangely with this man? She had her Apple Watch from which she could make calls, but she had also heard far too many horror stories about not being able to get 911 dialed before something took a turn for the worst. She did not want to end up being a statistic or a story on Dateline. Anna cursed herself for turning down her worrying friend John's offer to get her pepper spray. He had wanted to get her one larger one for her purse, and one smaller canister that she could run with on nights just like this. But Anna had poo-pooed the idea, especially the smaller canister for her runs. She hated carrying things. Hell, that's why she had spent all this extra money on her smartwatch, just so she wouldn't have to carry her full phone on her. But now, in the dark, turning down John's offer just to be a little lighter and unencumbered seemed rather short-sighted and silly. The park was a ghost town. She'd not even seen the usual rats and raccoons casting about tonight. The animals knew the dark was still king, and the cold wasn't gone for good. The thought that the beasts of Central Park thought better of being out tonight gave Anna a shiver. Or maybe that was the decreasing temperature. Or maybe it was this man that seemed to be gaining on her, just so slightly. He must be picking up his pace. Turning to begin her second and final lap of the reservoir, Anna thought she might pop out onto the main streets and out of the park rather than hit her perfect 17 in just the way she had planned. Why not? If she really wanted to get the mileage, she could always do a couple extra laps of her own block, closer to her apartment. She just couldn't brook the idea of changing her plans because of this one lone jackass, though. Fine. Fuck him. Let him watch her ass bounce while she ran one more mile. She knew she looked great. She was faster and fitter than this asshole anyway. Fuck him. Her anger dampened, and all the true crime she so ravenously consumed began to enter back into her thoughts in moments. This is how those stories began. It was so unfair for her to have this on her heart and mind all the time. What a bullshit world that would make her be on the defensive at any given moment of every given day. She sped up. She would put some distance between herself and neon green Nikes back there. She would finish this last mile as fast as she could, which was a bit compromised after the last 14, 16. She'd lost count at this point. This was the fear. But this would have her back on the surface streets in no time, finishing at her doorstep at her desired 17 miles quickly. Blink of an eye. He sped up. Anna's heart began to race. He had been matching her pace, but a bit slower. So he lagged behind her those 100 yards, only closing 20 or so here or there just because of pace variations from the both of them. Now he was clearly speeding up. He was only 50 yards away. Anna tried to speed up some more, but her body just couldn't give her the raw power that she needed for that pace. She was exhausting herself, and if this turned bad, doing so further would be to her disadvantage. She thought of all those big chunky keys sitting in her mailbox. She wished she could have those so she could weaponize them as she'd seen so many women do in the movies and speak of on news reports. He was now just 20 yards back. The nearest exit was still a quarter mile away. To her left was the reservoir itself, the water ink in the all but moonless night. To her right were overgrown hedges and a pitiful fence. She could always hurtle into that and make a break if this man was determined to come for her. Anna tried once again to pick up her pace, but there was just nothing left. The footfalls were all but on top of her. She stopped and wheeled around, ready to confront this man and fight for her life. Hi there, miss. Just letting you know that you dropped this back there. He said, beaming an awkward smile at her and holding out her combination front door and mailbox key to her. I tried to catch up with you a while back, but whew, you are one fast runner, ma'am. Anna reached out and cautiously took the key from the man. Thank you? She said, asking more of a question than making it a statement. Well, I sure do appreciate you making me run an extra mile or two. God knows I needed it anyway. Good luck and be safe out here. The park gives me the creeps after dark, so I'm off to my place. Have a great rest of your run, you hear? Anna mumbled, Thanks so much, sir, as he turned and jogged off toward the next exit from the reservoir loop. Eye contact the whole time, though she knew her chest was heaving and right there for him to see. Distance kept, even when handing off the key. Kindness and respect in this city. She went from abject terror to relief to intrigue in a few moments. Quite the whiplash in the wake of what she thought might be death come for her. Anna called out, Have a great night! I hope to see you out here getting those extra miles! From 30 yards ahead, he turned, slowing down and walking backwards. You too, Bluebell. You take care. Huh. Bluebell. She'd be wearing this outfit again soon, then. She watched the man exit from the southwest-most off-ramp into the park, and she continued running, a bit slower than before. As she turned to head out of the southeast section of the reservoir loop, Anna said a thank you prayer and considered that there still might be good left in the world. In this city. As she made her way onto 85th and toward her apartment, holding her key in her right hand and reconsidering, well, a lot. Thank you for listening to Robin's Egg Blue, an original short story by me, Jared I. McGee. Next up, please stick around for our second story this week, Okay, My Dream.
Do you remember your dreams?
Okay, My Dream. An original short story by Jared I. McGee.
All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their minds wake up in the day to find it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dreams with open eyes to make it possible. T.E. Lawrence.
Okay, My Dream. Please don't read too much into this, Charmaine. But this is what was dancing around my unconscious last night. Apparently. God only knows if it was the sake or the whiskey or the 6th jumbo slice of pizza. Any which way. Well, no more need for prelude, I guess. Now here we go. So, you knew that I was having a boring Friday night. In the dream, of course. And you wanted to be kind and invite me to your place for what you called an indoor picnic, where you were having a friend or two over. But you told me that my entrance ticket would be these zero-drop running shoes that I don't use anymore, because you want to use them to start a new running regimen. And we were meant to go on a fast-paced walk the next day or something. I was stoked to have a workout partner, so it seemed great. These shoes had torn up my knees. I guess I need more cushion than zero drops can offer. And I warned you off of them time after time. But you got it into your head that these would be your salvation as you tried to get back into a regular exercise regimen. So I grabbed the shoes, got dressed correctly, you said it was smart business casual, and I headed on over. The getting dressed part was difficult for me. As you well know by now, Charmaine, all of my clothes are rather worn. They were never quality or fancy to begin with, let's be honest. Clearance from Old Navy, a deal from Walmart or Target, occasionally a Ralph Lauren or Banana Republic item from a desert-based outlet mall. And all of these have been worn and worn and worn and worn again. I honestly think that the last time I purchased clothes was about a decade ago. Running shoes, those are a different matter. Hence the barely used 0 drops I was hustling to your place. Me clad in my second to best Old Navy set of duds from head to toe. Rather than your old place on 72nd, you had moved into a place just up on 88, so I didn't have much of a walk. 4 blocks of my usual fast-paced strolling had me there in just a few minutes. Once I got there, I buzzed 4A, your apartment in this fiction, and you let me in the door. You greeted me beaming. I handed you the shoes, gave you my coat, and, before you let me fully into the apartment, you gave me a pair of silk neon pink boxers as a welcome gift. Apparently, they'd be a part of the party later, or so you said with a smirk. That definitely made me nervous. I, unlike my waking self who is not quick to grouse, complained a bit because the vibrant underwear were rather shy on fabric and would make for a somewhat revealing wear, if wearing them in public was indeed on the party docket tonight. Also, I was doubly confused at why you were in a fancy, slinky red silk ball gown type thing. But you shushed my confusion. Everything was fine, I looked great, we were going to have a wonderful time. Relax, relax, relax. After that bit of reassurance, you moved to allow me to pass your threshold and fully brought me into the place. Immediately, you started introducing me to the also far more well-dressed than me crowd. Think sexy AF black tie. And there they were. Andre DeShields, Stephen Colbert, Jesse L. Martin, Reeve Carney, Hugh Jackman, the entire cast of 6, Ruth Negga, Eva Noblezada, Esapatha Peterson, John Oliver, Daniel Craig, Sam Waterston, Sutton Foster, and finally, the great Jerry Orbach. Yes, I know he passed, but anything is possible in dreams, right? I was starstruck. You were nonchalant, heavily rolling your eyes with the clear unspoken message, "Don't be lame, don't freak out, be cool, man." We wined, we dined. All of us sat around on the floor on a big blanket and picnic baskets. The in-house picnic was anything but quaint or pedestrian, though. Stacks of foods I had only read about or could not pronounce the names of came out of the baskets. Course after course. This was not the nosh of a relaxed Friday at a friend's place. Not by a long shot. My head continued to swirl. The celebrities, most of whom were heroes of mine, the great food and the gallons of wine flowing alongside both made for a pretty potent cocktail of intoxicants. After grubbing for an eternity, it was time to begin the entertainment portion of the evening. We played some really weird game about how underpants define you. Something about what you wore to any given event on any given day or during any given moment said more about you than almost any other indicator. At first blush, it sounded hokey and like a pretty thinly veiled attempt at a reason to get everyone at a party to strip down to their skivvies. But when high-powered celebrity types are down with such doings, it's hard to question or balk. To your credit, you had me rather sneakily and rather hastily go change into those neon pink boxers before we started, so that when we all needed to take our pants off for this getting to know you / let's be real with each other game, my underwear would be striking. Here you were, making sure that my ultimate truth would be something electric eclectic, and maybe more the real me than the guy I'm capable of showing in these types of social environments. You always see more in me than I do myself, Charmaine. It's that big, bleeding, empathetic heart of yours. You can see to the quick of people, and I adore you for it. Once the neon boxers were put on, I came out of your restroom as if nothing had happened, and I began in the stripping down to begin our game. A lot of other stuff happened that is fuzzy now. The details of the waking world has driven away all the more vibrant details of that dream world. However, I know that some of what went down was including, but not limited to, the underwear game itself, of course, but also an utterly asexual all-group shower in a facility that was conspicuously similar to, if not utterly identical to, my 8th grade locker room. Again, wakefulness is chasing the dream away now, though. But, even as the dream burns off, I vividly remember that you were so super stoked I went along with your put me in specific underwear plan because somehow it impressed one or the other of those actors or maybe an agent present. All I know is that, as the party wound up and we began to reclothe and slowly mingle our way toward goodbyes, either one of the actors or the agent/agents, when did they come in, I'm wondering, by the way. Anyway, they began getting you a job, doing the bookings for Broadway this and voiceover that right then and there in your apartment. They also said that they might be able to land something for me too, helping me enter into my dream of being a voiceover artist myself. You were to start rehearsals that following Monday. It moved that quickly. They were going to reach out to me by the next Friday. Yay, pink boxers. Wakefulness began to take me fully, but I clung to all of this long enough to write it down so I could toss it your way, Charmaine. Dreams contain heavy elements of truth and self, both spoken and unspoken, so I thought sending this your way might be something, might do something for one or both of us. Does that sound crazy? Well, underwear parties, group showers, 5-star at-home picnics. I think you might have some dinner party planning to do. Let's make things happen.
A dream you dream alone is a dream. A dream you dream together is reality. Yoko Ono.
Thank you for listening to OK, My Dream, an original short story by me, Jared I. McGee. That does it this week for Prose. All sounds that you heard come from freesound.org or YouTube's free audio library. Everything is being used under CC 01.0 public domain dedication licenses. Please do keep your feeds refreshed as we will be back again in 2 weeks' time with our next regular episode. And until then, love those around you, tell them that you do, and embrace this life as it is, always stranger than fiction. Thank you so much for listening.